Hello, welcome back to the Mildly Forged Boomers podcast. Obviously, I'm Nero, aka Onforge. I'm joined by Jake Hodgkiss, aka Vulcan.
Whoa.
And we got a new super cool guest. He might become a permanent member of the cast at this rate. Matthew, I don't know what to call you. Like, I don't know, whatever.
Gone.
What? Big Boomer? I don't know.
Big Boomer. That's fine.
Hell yeah, let's go, Big Boomer. Anyway, yeah, before we get started, we do want to talk about three things in this episode. Firstly, Ukraine, and then the cost of living crisis. And I'm not sure if everyone has any awareness of this, the G2 Esports drama with Andrew Tate.
Relatively.
Yeah, anyway. Let's just get started on the Ukraine thing. It is, I don't know where to start, really. I'm pretty much opening up to you, Matthew, because you seem like the most interested in what's going on with Ukraine, really.
Oh, well, I'd have to have a look at it first.
Yeah.
The counter-attacks have been very interesting.
Yeah, by Ukraine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just, like, what, Russia calling for, like, a quote-unquote partial mobilization.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of shows their desperation, I guess.
They're getting desperate. It's just
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying that it's that we're very optimistic to say that Ukraine wouldn't win this war, but
Yeah.
the way it's going right now, they're in a very good position too.
Mm.
Well, there's the thing. One of the things I've noticed is on the Ukraine side, there's a lot of they have good morale. They're fighting for a worthy cause. They're fighting to protect their country.
Better
It's-
logistics.
It's that effect that people from around the world are just volunteering to help them out.
Yeah.
Whilst in Russia, they're introducing conscriptions in certain areas,
Mm.
and people are just running away.
Yeah.
They're running away to different countries because they know the cause. It's not worth dying for, is it?
Mm.
It's fucking
Well, it's-
pointless.
It's not Russia's fight; it's Putin's
They-
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Nobody wants to get involved.
And then I'm not sure if you've heard, but like people have been protesting in the streets, and the people that get
Oh,
arrested,
right.
Arrested.
yeah, they get conscription draft letters.
Yeah.
So they're basically getting sent to the front line against their will anyway. And these letters are basically saying they're fit to fight regardless. It's basically using slave labor to fight, essentially, like using political prisoners. Like,
Could you argue if someone runs away after getting this conscription letter? Could you say they could seek asylum?
you could technically.
Because you feel
On
like
the
your life
basis
is in
of
danger.
you being suffering from political persecution, yes.
Mm.
I'm not sure if you've heard of the Russian YouTuber No Fuckers, and he's a friend of the British YouTuber who got arrested in Russia recently called Bold and Bankrupt. He got pretty much arrested for criticizing, quote unquote, the Putin regime and their special military operation in Ukraine by calling it an invasion or war. So yeah, there's a reason why No Fuckers is hiding out in Georgia, and from what we're seeing is like the amount of propaganda going on back at home to try and encourage people to fight is ridiculous. Like we've seen a billboard like it says serving Russia is a real job. Join the contract army, and like logo like billboards with the Z logo on it, like from this when the war started originally. Like now we're seeing an influx of people trying to leave Russia. Like what does it not surprise me? Like
They're not actually. Aren't they stopping people from leaving? Not
they're
too sure
trying to. I think in Eastern Europe, within the EU, they've cut off visa-free travel. Zelensky's threatened the EU by saying if anyone tries to cross into the EU, they should be sent back to Russia immediately. Georgia, I think, is the only country that's continuing the visa-free travel. Kazakhstan's borders are stacked, so is Georgia. So we live in a really fun time at the moment. Like that's sarcasm. It's not fun.
I mean, it's one of those things where you would have expected Russia to win by now.
Yeah.
It's just but they haven't. They've got so many issues they can't fix, and
Yeah.
I don't think they ever will.
I think it's mostly in relation to logistics. I mean, there's a reason Napoleon has said an army marches on its stomach. It's all a war based on logistics. And like
Yeah, logistics wins wars.
Yeah.
Manpower wins the battles. It's like
Yeah.
it's Russia have a lot of armor and infantry and all that, but it's so outdated.
Yeah.
They have a
And
lot of
not
people
very well
which are not.
maintained.
Yeah, they have people which are not trained and not supplied. They've got the soldiers that don't want to fight for the country, which I believe the majority of it is actually made up by minority
Mm.
ethnic groups, which is very strange.
Yeah. Well, like
Um,
what's that Caucasus region called again? I'm trying to think.
the Finn one.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it's the Republic of Chechnya. Yeah, Chechnya. Like that made up the majority of forces until they lost like 90% of their troops and they were sent back. I think Russia's still trying to rely on China and India's support, but China and India basically don't want to get involved.
India, I would say, lean towards allies rather than
Yeah, towards
India.
NATO.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure about India, but China, I know, are not in NATO. So.
yeah.
But
Especially
China
the
don't
whole-
want anything to do with it.
Yeah, especially the whole Taiwan thing. But it's probably why they're looking at Ukraine so closely.
Yeah.
But I've heard like Modi has been very critical of Putin, saying he should stand down. A day later, that's when Putin passed the partial mobilization decree, pretty much, and here we are now. Like
The amount of sanctions that China has on them, they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't go and start supporting Russia. They may support them. They may support them generally, but
In a
they
limited
won't give them
capacity,
any
yeah.
form of. Yeah, they won't give them any form of like support in terms of like economy or.
Wait, Chinese sanctions on Russia?
No, Chinese
Chinese
sanctions from
sanctions
like
in general,
the US
mostly
and
because of the
Europe.
Uyghurs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like China's trying to play a weird game where it doesn't want to provoke the West that much, but it still wants to. So in essence, it doesn't want to support Russia, but also has its own ideas in regards to Taiwan mostly. Like there's a reason why they're doing exercise drills like off the coast of Taiwan, pretty much. Like looking at the bigger picture.
What's the point of any of it?
What?
What's the point of getting Taiwan?
China, right? The
Easy
policy,
access to Japan.
The policy of the Chinese Communist Party of the People's Republic of China is Taiwan is a breakaway province and it needs to be brought back into the fold of the People's Republic of China. Pretty much. The whole gist is it's a rebel province and that's their claim to it, pretty much.
Taiwan is its own country. I swear it has been for a long time.
Yeah. Like
it might have been a breakaway province in like World War II, maybe, but
it's where like the exiled government of like Chiang Kai-shek went to after the Chinese Civil War, pretty much. So
it's not like Hong Kong, is it? Where it's actually part of China. It's like
the two one country two systems just thing. Which for the listeners is a complicated issue that I don't really want to talk about. Like it mostly involves Hong Kong and Macau being somewhat separate, but China's now at that point where they want to integrate them anyway. But
well, they've always been part of China, either way.
Yeah, politically. Well, not
It's very No, Russia, from looking at it, especially looking at like all the live maps and stuff. There's been a lot of air raid sirens that have been going off across Ukraine today. About half an hour ago was the earliest one. Oh no, a few seconds ago apparently there was one in Kharkiv.
Yeah, so I do recommend to the users, do go to liveuamap.com and then look at what's going on. Like we're seeing like today, it's mostly been Russian shellings. Ukraine air defense shot down a drone. And like let's be real, the loss of for Russia? What was that big supply center that they captured recently? Was it Kharkiv?
Sure,
I think. Like that was a massive Russian supply base, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Izium, I think it was.
Yeah, Izium, and yeah. So like, it's a massive big deal for Russia. Like, One thing I'm worried about. Well, I say worried about. I'm happy it's happening. Is if there's a gap in manpower in relation to troops being sent to the front, it means Russia's going to have less manpower in the factories in relation to creating equipment anyway. And I guess we're seeing that. Russia lost 40% of its tank fleet in like the last
40%.
Yeah.
40% of its current active tank fleet. They have some in reserve, but they're usually just very old school Soviet era.
Yeah.
Like
vehicles.
T-70s, that sort of thing.
T-60s.
But T-60s.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It is showing how Russia's just completely desperate to do anything in relation to this war, which is kind of funny.
Well, I was saying this. They might have like 10,000, I think they have about 10,000 in reserve in terms of like, I think it's T-80s, so they're a bit newer.
Yeah.
I mean, they have something like 10,000 in reserve, but they're 3 or 4 man crew. You'd have to train up 30 to 40,000 crew, including all the engineers required for that level of tanks. It's going to take some time, and at that point, Ukraine's already pushing back to Luhansk.
And these conscripts, they're just bringing, they're not exactly trained to like, I mean, considering the state that the Russian army was in during the early stages of the invasion, it doesn't really, it doesn't show it's going well for the Russian army. Like logistics issues, low morale, and then.
I've always said this is like when Ukrainian troops are stumbling across like Russian camps and they were sleeping in like mud and dirt and they were eating like MREs that were gone off for like 20 years and like they were eating nothing but like potatoes from like food trucks and stuff like that, and they're not only like some of them like starving on the front lines, they've got no morale. Which is a good thing. That's something good that Ukraine are doing. They've cut off supply lines. They can't cut off supply lines between, say, Russia and Ukraine because you can't get that far into
that
Russia
actually means you're
area.
Technically declaring war. But Russia would argue that it's defending its sovereign entities known as Donetsk and Luhansk.
It's already a war, really, isn't it? But you can't. Russia can't claim that they're declaring war when it's already a war.
There's a political backlash of calling it a war domestically for Putin. Did you hear about the referendums going on, quote unquote referendums, in Donetsk, Luhansk, and what was it, the land bridge with Crimea, pretty much?
Oh yeah,
all the ones that the Russians have been orchestrating.
Oh yeah. Just like in Crimea, when they democratically allowed the people of Crimea to decide whether they want to be part of Russia. Yeah, they're doing the exact same thing, but this time in free territories to get annexed. It's all right.
I'll vote for whether if they put a gun to my head, I'll vote for the hell they want.
Yeah, well, I think it doesn't matter if they vote for one or the other. Obviously, Russia are going to
rig it
push
anyway.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to rig it. They're going to say there'll be more votes.
That's why I put a very somewhat sarcastic tone while saying that, because they will rig it.
Democratic, my ass.
Yeah, exactly. Russia's been Putin's been in power since 1999. Definitely democratic, guys. I swear. Yeah.
But they're doing a referendum in like Kharkiv, and it's not even under Russian control anymore.
Yeah.
Like
they're doing a thing with the referendum where they're getting officials with the ballot box to go to people's houses. So with the actual ballot box, so they can vote. It's very democratic, guys. I swear. They're definitely not. It's definitely not an open ballot, so they can see exactly what you're voting for. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's maybe it's just the future. No. God. Jokes
aside,
there's
no way that any of that will. It doesn't matter what they vote, does it? Though, let's be honest, because Ukraine are not going to listen to Russia. Russia are just going to turn up on Kiev's doorstep and be like, "Oh, the people of your country in these and these regions." Kiev
is the Russian name for the capital of Ukraine. It's Kiev.
Yeah,
I had to say this to a person at work. Just really had to educate them. But yeah. Anyway.
Kiev. Okay.
Yeah. It's weird.
Well, imagine Russia turning up to Kiev and these people have voted to become part of Russia. They're just gonna tell them to fuck off. It's not gonna work. I don't understand the logic behind it.
Yeah.
you can prove your point, but everyone's going to know it's false, and it's not going to go anywhere, is it?
Yeah.
Like, it did with Crimea because Ukraine didn't have any forces to stop this, or
Yeah. And then if you look at how Crimea's set up now, it's been pretty much cut off from the rest of Ukraine by cutting off railway lines, like pipelines
water
and all
supplies,
that.
Gas supplies,
making it solely reliant on Russia.
which is fair enough, but I don't think they were actually getting anything from Russia.
Yeah.
I think they were just pretty much starving to death. They either people in Crimea fled to Russia or fled to Ukraine.
Yeah.
But
it wouldn't surprise me this would happen in Donetsk, Luhansk, and whatever else is going to be annexed.
At least Donetsk and Luhansk is just one region, and it's not that big. It's not too big of a deal. If they wanted to surrender Donetsk and Luhansk and end the war quickly, they could do.
But is Putin actually going to do that? Doubt it.
I doubt it. No.
Yeah.
Well, it depends how threatened he is. I mean, you can tell that he's scared.
Yeah.
From all of his his latest interviews and stuff, where
his posturing. Yeah.
He's admitted that they're not making ground, and in his own way, admitted that anyway.
And the threat of nuclear weapons. Go figure. Does not surprise me. Turn to your nuclear weapons if you have nothing left else to turn to. If that makes sense. Like, yeah.
Like some of the stuff they're doing though, like you can see like Russian army drone striking like buildings in like central cities. It's just that they don't occupy.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, but that's just rallying up support for the Ukrainian military.
Exactly.
Because people in those cities are going to be like, well, fuck this, I'm not taking it. I'm going to go join the front line.
Yeah.
It's like, whereas people in Ukraine are fighting to save their country, Russian people don't want to fight because
they don't even want to be there in the first place.
Don't want to be there in the first place because it's not a battle. It's a battle they thought they were going to win. But it's not a battle that they need or want. You know, it's crippling the economy. They have to double down on manufacturing and stuff in relation to military vehicles and ammo and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's just you're gonna have less people doing work because you're literally conscripting millions of Russians.
Yeah, and they're not gonna have the morale to fight anyway because they don't want to be there. So like
less business inside your country, so less tax, crippling your economy even more.
Less workers in factories making said equipment for said soldiers.
Yeah. All the sanctions.
Yep.
Russia's economy, I reckon, will collapse before this war
ends. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
The only thing Russia has at the moment is just resources.
Yeah.
They have resources. They do have a big, supply of money. They did, this is what they said at the start of the war. Like, even after all the sanctions came into place, they were saying that, they have the resources to fight.
Yeah.
For a long time without support from the West.
Like geopolitically, they were mostly relying on their use of gas supplies into Europe to try and have some sort of threat over it. But it didn't work. Like look at Germany. Germany's basically getting imports from the US in terms of liquefied natural gas and all that.
I mean, we could just go back to coal.
Great idea. That goes down so well with the hippies.
Kill the environment before Russia kills Ukraine.
Yeah.
you can't destroy Ukraine if there's no environment around it.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can pretty much summarize that it's blowing up in Putin's face. It's not the Russian people. It's Putin's.
I feel bad for the Russian people. It depends because a lot of them. Well, I'd say the majority don't want to fight, but you do get the odd. Older people who live in, I'd say, more remote regions of Russia that have got a bit more,
less to lose.
A bit more patriotic.
Yeah.
Whereas, say in big cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg and all that sort of stuff, you have a lot of the younger generation, students and people who are actually well up on current
quote unquote work
politics.
People. Yeah, that's seeing through the lights of Putin. Yeah.
Yeah, but they can't say anything. Wasn't there a threat to someone saying they were going to assassinate Putin at some point?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me at this rate. But yeah, it's funny seeing these very patriotic, weird, how how do I describe this? Young Putin supporters suddenly trying to flee Russia. Go figure. Doesn't surprise me.
Vladimir Putin's limo was attacked in an assassination attempt about a week ago.
A week ago, damn. Yeah.
Oh.
So it is. Yeah. Putin's on his last legs at this rate, so that's what we can surmise. But
the guy's dying anyway. Doesn't he have, like,
that's the
cancer or
rumors.
something?
That's the rumors of it. But
Rumors
yeah.
he's dying? Seriously, I've not actually heard these.
Apparently he has like Parkinson's or something. I don't know, but rumors anyway. Yeah. Anyway, that's a wrap on Ukraine, pretty much, which we've covered in 20 minutes. Cost of living crisis. I'm curious. How is this all affecting everyone? Genuinely.
I don't know. I live with my parents.
I do as well, but paying for fuel is just cancer at this rate.
Oh, fuel! Oh God. I know. It's not as bad now as it was.
Yeah, but
it used to be worse. It's just.
I'm
go on.
I was gonna say, I'll say that the people I think are most affected. I'm not gonna say poor people because we all know people like working class people who don't have that much money.
Yeah,
they're gonna suffer anyway. But I'm gonna talk about small businesses like pubs and bars.
Yeah,
they're gonna shut their doors all across the country en masse. So I was talking to the people on the roads that just up from where my house is.
Yeah,
their gas and electric has. Yeah, I don't think it's just doubled. Well, I swear it's like quadrupled, which is insane. They don't have that many customers anyway.
Yeah. Which is why I'm curious as to what everyone thinks on a windfall tax on these energy companies. The whole premise of a windfall tax is a temporary tax on companies that are making profits while the economy's pretty much in a recession. So I don't know. I'm curious what everyone thinks of it.
I'm very 50-50. I can see both sides.
Yeah.
I would lean towards, I'd say yes, do it.
Yeah.
There's companies that are, I think it's like Amazon and Facebook and all this sort of stuff, Meta or whatever it's called, that have actually received tax cuts.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense when they make the most profit. I can understand. They're making so much profit. I'm pretty sure a lot of companies are actually up for it. They actually they will support a windfall tax to support the economy. You can't have a company. Yeah. You can't have a company in a country with no economy. So they're all saying, "Fucking, just take our money. Take a bit more of it if it's going to help." Because
you've got to stimulate the economy somehow by giving people more money to spend in said economy.
No, just make the poor pay for it.
but I can also understand the other side of it is that it can stop big companies wanting to invest more into the country. Yeah.
But this is what really annoys me with our government. They're happy to cut on all these taxes on all these giant corporations. I know what's happening is we're just losing so much money.
Just borrowing's going up, isn't it?
Yeah, but last time I checked, it was something like due to conservative business and corporation cuts. When they started doing it, we've lost like £72 billion in revenue. 72 billion. That's insane. Absolutely insane.
I mean, you've seen how
stuff you could buy with that.
You've seen how the pound
it's plummeted,
dropped, hasn't it?
It's dropped. Yeah.
I mean, who wants to invest in this country anyway? Honestly, look at it.
Well,
gas and electric is too bloody expensive. We don't own any of the stuff that makes power. We don't own it. It's such a useless country.
I don't understand because a lot of it is British companies.
It's not. It's not.
Like Shell and BP and.
Shell's weirdly a Dutch-British.
Shell part with Dutch.
Yeah, BP is like the biggest in the UK in terms of oil production, but of course I think
we don't get most of our oil from BP anyway.
Yeah.
We export most of it. Yes, we do.
However, I think Scotland have a lot of reserves of oil. They have enough reserves to last them so long.
In the North Sea.
In the North Sea, but it's all run by, I believe the North Sea is run by BP. Not Shell.
I swear they sold a lot of it to China. I might be wrong.
Shell's operations are in Nigeria and all that, weirdly. Go figure.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. That's a discussion for another day.
It's a story for another time. Yeah.
That's next week's.
Yeah. how Shell basically used the Nigerian government to suppress the poor people of Nigeria so they can get more oil. Yeah.
Destroyed an entire country and an environment just for oil.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like it's like the pound though. After all this, is like they've just announced all the massive tax cuts. Which
with the mini budget from our great chancellor. What's his name?
No idea.
Botang or whatever. Yeah, God.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But the pound's plummeted. To be honest with you, I'm not that sure why. I didn't read up too much on that. Why the pound plummeted so much? You would have thought with taxes being lower, there'd be an increase in spending.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I guess that could lead. I don't know actually. What was it? It's like $1.30 last month to the dollar. Now it's like $1.09 to the pound or something like that.
Yeah.
It's plummeted huge.
I wish I invested in stocks and
Still can. Things are so down.
It says energy bills are one of the things that are likely to increase as the pound falls. The price of gas in the UK is based on the dollar, even if the gas is produced in the UK. Foreign holidays are going to be expensive, apparently. This is all according to the National News business section. It also likely to make British companies more competitive when they export around the world. Cheaper pound makes it cheaper to buy British goods and services, but the issue is
what British goods?
Yeah, what British goods?
What British? What do we actually do?
Yeah. What British Steel, which by the way we sold to an Indian conglomerate. Yeah, great fun.
Literally all our car companies are foreign owned because of this shit
MG, owned by like a Chinese firm or something. Yeah, great fun. But yeah. Welcome to Tory Britain, guys. Yeah.
I think the only British car company we have, I swear it's Morgan. I swear that's the only one we have that's fully owned by England.
Yeah. I'm trying to find what the reason is behind this the drop of the pound, though. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
It can't
Apparently
just be
he wants to keep cutting taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing?
Just got done setting up my PC. Playing temperature.
Yeah.
So yeah, how you guys doing? You okay?
We're recording the pod. Yeah.
My bad. Am I interrupting?
Not really.
Why? What are our topics for today? I'm curious.
Ukraine, cost of living, and the G2 Esports drama.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Where were we then before I rudely interrupted?
We were up to explaining why the value of the pound dropped. We're not really sure, but it was after our great chancellor announced his mini budget. Yeah.
I can tell you now. His budget is probably the most bullshit thing I have ever seen. I don't know where he thinks this money is going to come from when they're cutting taxes.
Yeah.
But it's going to magically appear. And you've got Labour promising the 79p tax thing as well, if they come into power. But let's be honest, that's bullshit as well. No one cuts taxes.
Apparently they want to continue cutting taxes in an interview with him on...
Really? Look, I'm down for low tax, right? I'm down for low tax. Not when it bankrupts our country, though, yeah?
Yeah, that's true.
So dumb.
I like not living in a third world country, thanks.
Yeah, guys, I swear. It's like being back in the Philippines a whole month ago, guys. It's crazy. Like, everything's so cheap there.
Give it a week, Nero. We'll start getting electricity cuts again.
Yeah.
Just start GoFundMe for the UK government. That would work out.
What they're doing is incredibly dangerous because they just want to secure votes for the next election and build trust again.
Yeah.
But this is really short-term thinking, and that's not how you build trust in the people who are going to vote for you, right?
The horrible thing is we've not even had a prime minister actually complete a full term since David Cameron.
I don't even think Cameron finished his full term.
He did on the first one.
He
had a
full term, and then he resigned on the second. Right. Yeah. Gotcha. We don't talk about the coalition government.
Fucking hell, that was 2012?
Yeah, that was the last time I actually had a prime minister.
Christ.
Just get
holy shit.
Constant wave of incompetent prime ministers who just can't be asked.
I do think we need a shake-up. I mean, I don't want to out my political views, but I don't think I'll vote Conservative this time.
Probably
It's
not going to
just-
vote Conservative, or Labour, to be honest. In fact, I might just not vote again, because I didn't vote last time, right? But you're like, oh, well, if you didn't vote, you have no right to complain. Yeah, vote from the Wicked Witch of the West or the fucking Demon King, bro. I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Maybe I'll vote Green. Maybe I'll vote Green.
No, it's because you've got these really gimmicky parties like Green Party, and you've got
if the Lib Dems had a leader, I'd probably vote Lib Dems. Gonna be.
I mean, Lib Dems are just a very soft core Labour.
They got fucking castrated.
Well, sometimes they
they
decide
are.
they're Tories half the time, and sometimes they decide if they're actually just actual social democrats.
After Cameron, they got castrated. The Lib Dems don't do anything anymore.
Pretty much.
Legit, right?
They're bipolar, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty much trying to say about the Lib Dems.
Honestly,
half the time they're Tories, half the time they're Labour. It's really
I will be completely honest, right? General election, pointless voting in it, to be honest, right? I don't think there's any point in voting in the general election. Local election, hell yeah, I'm going to do my research on everybody and make sure I vote in the right person, right? Because, that actually affects me directly. I don't think we'll see any legitimate change in policies and anything, even if we switch out full government. I don't see it, honestly, anytime soon anyway. There's just no one radical enough, really. Right?
No.
Everyone's really milquetoast. I mean, let's not talk about Starmer, right?
It just always seemed that whenever we got a Labour government in the last 40 years, it was them that would do all the things to destroy the economy, increase
it's
spending.
a nice little reverse, yeah.
It's a nice reverse.
In a reverse card, yeah. As my friend Olivia would say, in a reverse card, yeah. It's just.
I mean, I'd make a joke about Labour now being the ones to clamp down on speech, but hey, government's been doing that for a while now.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And that's both governments, people, before you say I'm biased.
Yeah.
Speech law's bad. To a point, obviously. No, kill
extremist American. Yeah.
Don't be kill X ethnic group. That's bad, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. Don't shout fire in a loud, crowded stadium.
Yeah.
Right.
That's just
Should I get
sense,
arrested?
isn't it?
Should I get arrested for making an offensive joke online? Fuck no. I don't care who thinks how offensive it is. That's bullshit.
Yeah. No, cost of living. It's gonna be. I'm generally going to think it's going to be bad because I do volunteer work for Citizens Advice. We're going to get a lot of people over winter asking us for advice in relation to.
It's going to be as bad as predicted, given the tax cuts, right? And just in general.
Yeah.
But it will get a lot worse as we keep on going. The initial wave will probably be okay. It's just the wave after that, and the wave after that. It's going to get worse and worse, basically. A lot of it is due to the disruption of grain importation because of the Ukraine war, to be honest.
Well,
a lot of it is because of that, because Ukraine exported a fuck ton of grain, right? Well, they obviously can't do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, hell, fucking the work to stop Chernobyl from being a radioactive
wasteland again.
Dead zone that's had to stop because they've been fighting near the reactor. People I know some of them have still been going to work.
The nuclear proliferation organization from the UN pretty much had to say, can you please not stop the workers being there.
To be fair, right, you could fire artillery down on that fucking power plant, right? Nothing would happen at all. That thing is solid, right? And they built those things to last, right? Unless, with Fukushima or something, they just ignore all regulations, right? With the steel coffin they've got around Chernobyl, that thing ain't budging, right? That's not the problem. The problem is, right, if there's a leakage anywhere in there, and there's
there's no workers.
They're missing a few workers because people still go, right? But it's just not as many. They're missing a few workers. They're missing manpower. They might miss that leakage, right? And that's high gamma radiation.
I mean, the thing is, didn't they actually measured the highest amounts of radiation around Chernobyl as soon as the Russians invaded, because they sort of lost control of the area. If that was to leak out, get into water supplies, into the environment, and it hit a NATO ally, it's actually a nuclear war. Theoretically, it's an active war.
I think they've pulled back, although don't quote me on that. Like,
They
especially
should have,
since
yes.
since the Ukrainian counter-offensive, right? Because they took back Kyiv, and like apparently shit's getting as back to normal as they can in Kyiv.
Well, they've had control of Chernobyl probably since like mid-July now. They've had it back for a long time.
Shit, yeah, really? Alright,
Yeah.
that's good.
It was part of the first counter-offensive because he tried to push him from the north, didn't they? And it didn't work, so they
into
retreated
Kyiv,
straight back to Belarus.
Yeah.
They had to redeploy those troops back in the east, in Donetsk, Luhansk, and like near Odessa. Which, to be fair, they haven't pushed as far as Odessa yet, but that's probably what they're planning to do.
Near Odessa yet, to be fair.
Yeah, like I genuinely think Putin wants to finish his land bridge, cut off Ukraine from the coast, and try and link up with Transnistria in Moldova, because Transnistria is pretty much a breakaway state in Moldova that does want to join Russia. Like,
to be fair, they also have like pretty much full control of the of the bridge that links Russia to Ukraine anyway.
Yeah.
So like they've got free open access to troops, right? And like Ukraine can't really take that bridge out, right? Because they'd be fucking themselves over as well. Like after the war comes down and stuff, they could destroy it. It's just the issue is, right, that risks offensive action from Russia, and we've seen that Russia are more than willing to fire missiles at civilian targets, right?
Yeah.
It's twofold. It's that issue of after the war, what now, right? They've cut off one of their biggest routes of
Ukraine
exportation.
have done a lot of that in the north, especially around like Chernobyl and stuff like that. They've purposely airstriked or artillery like bridges, and they've destroyed a lot of the railways from like Belarus into Russia, so they can't get any supplies in. The Russian troops couldn't get around Ukraine as easy. You've seen what they're doing with road signs, haven't you? They're painting over road signs. So the majority of Ukrainian transmissions go through like an unencrypted old school radio system. So they're actually getting like hacked by like Anonymous and all sorts of stuff. And they were
Russia,
like playing, Russia, and they were playing like funny pig sounds and stuff over their radios. And what they're doing as well is the Ukrainian military is relying on basically paper maps to navigate around Ukraine. So any civilians, they're going out, and they did it in Kyiv as well, and in Kharkiv, they're painting over every single road sign, so they can't navigate around the country.
To make it difficult for the Russians,
Yeah.
I'd argue that that's the smartest thing to do, right, in an age where it's really easy to have your like radio transmissions and just hell, even your Wi-Fi signals like hacked into and like redirected and stuff, right? That's very smart of them just to go back to pen and paper for a bit, because like as long as they've got access to maps, which we absolutely do. I mean, hell, you can just print road maps, right? Still to this day.
Yeah.
So Russia found out that like people were trying that actually figured out what like sort of like what's it called, channels and like wavelengths they were using on the Russian military radios.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were sort of like hacking into it. So Russia posted like a tweet, like they did like accidentally in their words, stating what the Russian troops, like the radio waves, were actually on, and it was all fake. So they try and like divert people from not
throw
doing
people
that.
off.
And then the Ukrainian government on Twitter posted the real ones for everyone to see, so that everyone could go into their radio communications and say whatever they wanted or play.
Bro, say what you want, man. Twitter is a tool of warfare.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Pure warfare.
And I do appreciate how like the Ukraine Twitter account is still shit posting to this day, by the way.
Speaking of Twitter, moving on to our final subject, the G2 Esports drama. Oh, Bubba Booey.
Andrew Tate.
Oh, what a cursed day for esports. Like, so basically the whole gist of it is Carlos Rodriguez Ocelot, the CEO and founder of G2 Esports, posted a video of him partying with Andrew Tate on Twitter. You know, Andrew Tate, under criminal investigation for being a sex trafficker, arguable that he's a misogynist, and a rapist.
Well, no, he's in court over those allegations of being a sex trafficker.
That's why we moved to Romania, because they don't investigate rape allegations there.
Yeah. I mean, no, you can just bribe everyone off even.
Exactly. Romania's a beautiful country, but CEO
I will
of
say
G2,
this.
Yeah.
I will say this. This is obviously not representative of all of G2, and I think they came out immediately to denounce it. Right? They were not happy about it. Right? I don't know what they've done since. Whether they've kicked him off the CEO position yet. But if they want any scrap of their reputation to survive, they better start doing it, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be hating on the players they've signed
They've
or
done
anything,
nothing.
right?
They're just with contracts with the org. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the CEO, the person that caused all of this mess. All of the anger and everything like that should be directed at him. Not that I'm saying you should go out and witch hunt him or anything, right? We know what he did.
Cancel culture bad.
To say.
Well, yesterday he officially quit for good.
Yeah,
good. Okay. We hold people accountable. We don't witch hunt them. Because witch hunting solves nothing.
Yeah, I'd argue though him quitting was firstly. Two reasons, I'd argue. One, the likelihood that shareholders and sponsors threaten to leave.
That share's dropped immediately.
I genuinely think two sponsors I could think of that threatened to leave is probably Red Bull or BMW, most likely.
BMW is huge.
Genuinely, it's a bad image for both of those brands if they're
associated with
G2 and the CEO being a misogynist. The likelihood that the shareholders had a meeting and threatened to kick him out, so his option was either you walk or we're going to sack you. So Carlos decided to walk.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a choice anyway.
Exactly.
I hope he learns from this and understands what he did wrong though, because
He could have claimed so many things to get himself out of this situation. But the guy literally went out and
he doubled down.
He's like, I have no regrets, that sort of thing.
You can't police my friendships, okay? So it's okay for you to, as a CEO, you're kind of also the face of this organization, G2 Esports.
The problem
you're seen partying with
he can hang out with whatever degenerate he wants in his own time, right?
Yeah.
That's not it's a problem, obviously, right? In that he is a person of low moral fiber, right? He's of bad character. That's whatever. But it's the fact that he's defacing his organization. He is the face of his organization as the CEO, and he has an obligation to uphold the reputation of his org, right? Yeah. And he by doing that, he absolutely defaced it.
And by him double downing, that made it worse. Yeah.
And doubling down. Why would you double down when you're holding such an important position, right? As you go up a social ladder, whether that be in work or just in general, right? You hold more responsibility. You need to take accountability for that responsibility. And if you squander it, honestly, I have no fucking sympathy.
No.
To be fair, he's probably already set for life. He's already made his money, right?
Yeah.
And he'll continue partying with Andrew Tate.
I genuinely think that the shareholders at G2...
we sent a clear message that we don't support this shit. And that's important.
Yeah. I think, as well, for the shareholders at G2, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but, in correlation, Jesus, my brain does not work.
Good.
The VCT Valorant Champions Tour, teams are pretty much announced. It's using a similar structure to League, where North America, Asia, and Europe are all having their own teams exclusively. G2 pretty much missed out on both NA and EU, EMEA specifically. So I'd argue that Riot pretty much didn't want them to be in VCT based on Carlos's actions. If you look at other orgs that have had bad history, like Optic Gaming and FaZe Clan, specifically FaZe Banks, there's a reason they're not in VCT.
Well, to be fair, right? Optic kind of died once Nadeshot left, and he runs 100 Thieves.
It's not
now,
Nadeshot.
Right?
It's Oh, he was in Optic. Damn.
Yeah, Optic Nadeshot, dude. Yeah, he's one of their Call of Duty players, right? And, their entire org basically died after Nadeshot left because
and then Nadeshot formed 100 Thieves. Yeah. And then 100 Thieves are unironically in.
Right?
100 Thieves are in NA VCT. Yeah, brilliant.
100 Thieves is literally good. No cap.
Yeah, but it's the world is just awful today. I won't lie. It's just.
Just today?
Well, not today. I mean, past few weeks, it's been something else.
It's slowly going downhill, but we can all hope that at least Putin dies very soon.
Yeah.
Of his Parkinson's or whatever.
Yeah, hopefully those rumours are true. But
if there's anyone that deserves fucking cancer, it's that dude. Holy shit.
yeah. But yeah, I know. I want to end on this quote. I know, because it's weird, because it's well known I'm a fanatic fan at this rate, but like I'm not sure how to feel for like G2 fans specifically, because I've been seeing them pouring into like the subreddit, basically saying like, yeah, we don't stand with Carlos or whatever, and it's just weird because you can't really separate Carlos from G2 because he's been the face of it. He founded it. It's like his child, if that makes sense. So I don't know how to interpret it.
To be fair, that I forget which fucking perfume organization it is, but like fucking they make like cosmetics and shit, like handbags and stuff. As a designer, right? And she literally worked with the Nazis, and they managed to bury that.
Was this Coco Chanel? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Bitch fucking literally worked with the Nazis, right? Oh, it was under coercion. She still worked with the Nazis, right? She's a fucking bitch. But like, they've managed to bury that basically, and they're still quite active, right? Yeah. You can move on from this kind of shit, right? Are you right to move on and like completely ignore it happen? No. But they'll recover, honestly. Won't be too big of a hit for them, to be honest. Like what? We'll have some new drama to deal with in like 2 weeks. Yeah. It's the problem these days, right? Shit like that happens, and you just kind of skim over it, basically, because it just kind of happens, and then that's it, really. It's over.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess this is a good time to wrap the podcast. Like we've hit 46 minutes. Woo, guys, brilliant. We've done it. We did it, boys.
Woo, yeah, baby.
But yeah. I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. It was interesting, at least. Like, I know we had like a week off because Jesus help us.
Apologies for the late entrance.
Yeah, it's all good, honestly. But like, yeah. Anyway, see you guys. Fun episode, lol.
Catch you later. Bye.